Okay, so let's just delete everything but the default cube, and we can just start modeling straight away since we're modeling a cube. Wait. No, you can't do that. Nah, I need to start again. On a more serious note, we're going to delete everything and then bring the default cube back in, and then we can start modeling because that's the only way to do things in Blender. Just before we start, make sure you have the copy attributes add-on enabled as well as the loop tools add-on enabled. I frequently use these throughout my modeling process. They're handy to have on in general, and it's helpful to have on for any future tutorials of mine that you may follow. So if we just go online and search for a companion cube, go to images, and just grab this one right here. I find it's really good since it's an orthographic image. So we'll just load that into Blender and we'll model based off of this. Let's just scale the cube up so that it matches with the light grey square. We'll subdivide the entire thing, and we just want to keep these top three faces up here so we can invert the selection and delete those faces. Let's extrude this vertex down here, bring it down to the 3D cursor, and then do cursor to selected so that we can get a local origin point for this, and we'll just do origin to 3D cursor for that. With that set up, what we want to do is we want to set up three different empties. So let's get this one, we'll call this left face. You'll see why. We'll duplicate it, we'll call this one top face. Come to edit mode here, select this front face, and we'll add in one more, and we'll call this front face. Cool. Okay, let's delete these two faces because they're unnecessary, and we will cut this cube, or this face, I should say, in half. We'll set up a mirror modifier on it. Now, we want this to be mirrored around the Z-axis, and we want it to be mirrored around this front face. And we want this front face to be rotated 45 degrees on the Y-axis. Now, we want another one, and just make sure clipping is enabled. We want another one. These are going to be on the X-axis. So let's select the left face, and for the left face, let's rotate this around on the Z by negative 45 degrees. Now we have the left face, and we will set up one more mirror, and we'll do this around the top face, clipping, and we will rotate this around the Y-axis by negative 45 degrees, and we now have a completed cube. Now, there is a whole lot of overlap and doubles and what have you. You could solve this by using the weld modifier atop of all this. I'm not going to worry about it, as I'm just going to remove doubles every time I apply the modifiers. And speaking of applying the modifiers, let's just make a duplicate of this cube here, as we are going to be applying modifiers and reapplying them. And so with the copy attributes menu, we'll be able to just copy the modifiers from this directly back onto this cube that we're modeling on. Okay, so let's go into edit mode here, and then using the knife tool, we'll just cut these details in. So one along there, there. And we'll just approximate where this needs to be. That looks about fine. Cool. And so we'll collapse the modifier stack here, and that's why we've made that duplicate cube so that we can just easily copy the modifiers over. And so we'll tab into edit mode again here. We'll remove all the doubles, or do by distance as it is now. And we just want to get this group of faces over here, extrude all of them, and just have it line up with the outside of the reference image there. Cool. And we'll do the same for this over here. We'll do E to extrude, Alt S, and then S so that we maintain even thickness, and just pull that out to the side, just as such. Cool. And we just want to keep these faces. We can invert the selection and delete everything else because we don't need them. So if we bring that cube back in, select the part that we just modeled, select the duplicate cube, Control C, and copy modifiers, we now have all of that recreated for us. Okay, so now we'll concern ourselves with getting this circular cutout in the middle here. So let's just tab into edit mode, select this middle vertex, and go cursor to selected. We'll bring in a circle, and just under its properties, make sure you set its vertices to 24. We'll rotate and scale that to match the inside circle here. And then in edit mode, extrude it out to match the outside circle. And then we'll just bring this beyond the modeled cube just a little bit. Cool. Alright, we'll set up a Boolean modifier. set the difference and with the circle as its operator. And let's just go ahead and apply that. And I can delete that boolean. Okay, cool. So I've had a bit of trouble with the boolean doing this. Sometimes it fills these faces, sometimes it doesn't. If it does, less work for you. If not, it's really easy to fix. We'll just come in here. We will merge these vertices to that last one there. So merge vertices to last. We'll dissolve that. And I'll drag all of these inward and do that by distance. Then with these ones here, we'll use the loop tools and we will space these out just so we get a smoother sort of curve. We'll extrude these two down so that it matches up with the reference image. And using the snapping tool, we'll set it to vertex and just snap it back along the Y so that it lines up there. Fill that face. And we'll also just modify the position of this a bit. Once again, so that it lines up a bit better with our reference image. We'll extrude this vertice and we'll fill that face in like so. Cool. With the boolean out of the way, what we'll do is we'll set the 3D cursor back to the very center. We'll add in another modifier. We'll do another mirror modifier. And we want to set the origin back to the 3D cursor into the center. And we want this final mirror modifier here to act on all axes. And we'll collapse the entire stack. So we'll apply all of those. And I'll remove all of these doubles. Alright, so let's alt select this inside circular cutout. We'll extrude and we will scale in just to the outside of the white circle. With that done, we'll use our loop tools and we'll use circle, and that'll give us a perfect circle in the center here. And we want to keep this fairly simple, so we'll go ahead and select the right side and the bottom, delete all those faces. Actually, no, what we'll do, just to make it a hell of a lot easier, is we'll just select the one portion that we want to work with, which is that, Control I, and delete all the other faces. Fantastic, and we will once again copy the modifiers off of that initial cube. Alright, so let's go ahead and hide this cube once again. And come to edit mode here. Let's select these inside vertices and we'll just bring these out. So extrude along the Y and we'll just line them up once again using the snapping tool with that area there. That should do just fine. And we'll actually chuck in that extra mirror modifier again just so we can see the full extent of what we're doing. Okay, seems to be a little bit of trouble there. That's okay. We'll just enable clipping and we'll move that and that. And we'll just space these out again just so that they are perfectly circular. Okay, cool. And with our origin still in the center there, we'll do our bounding box as the 3D cursor. We'll extrude, scale on everything but the Y, and bring that into B0 for the time being. And we'll just add another loop in there. And then we'll just delete these. So can we dissolve these? Yep, we'll just dissolve those edges and we'll have that terminate at the center like so. Alright, so now we've got that extrusion. So the final details that we need to worry about are the bevels on the edges here. Tapering these in just a little bit and these little cutouts here. Alright, so really quick, let's just do a bit of topo cleanup here. We'll just cut that through. Select these edges and we'll just slide them down so it lines up with the pink strip in the middle here. And we'll do the same for this vertex here, just so that it lines up relatively straight. And we'll just space these out because they don't need to be so tightly packed. And we'll do the same for the top, like so. Right, let's extrude this in a bit. And that seems to have created an extra face, so we'll just delete that. We'll do an inset on this face. Just press B so it goes to the boundary. And we'll dissolve that outer edge. That way we're just not getting a straight 90-degree fall off. We'll add a bevel to this here to smooth it out a little bit. And now we just want to go ahead and select all of the corners or the edges of this model. And we're going to add a crease to them so that when we put a subdivision surface modifier on top of all this, it comes out looking nice and crisp. So I think that's all of them. So we'll go Shift E, and from what I've experimented with, 0.7 seems to look about the best. So we'll do that. And the only other detail we need to add in now is the bevel on the corners. So we will apply this mirror stack. We will remove our doubles. And then let's just go ahead and select all these outside edges along here. I believe that's all of them. Cool. And we'll do a bevel. And we'll line it up with that reference image on the outside. Now that hasn't properly taken the creasing across all of these, so we'll just do Shift E -1 just to clear it all, and then Shift E 0.7, and that should bring it all back. Cool. Let's go and apply smooth shading. We've got a subdivision surface modifier, and let's crank that bad boy up to 4. And there we go. We have a very nice and crisp looking companion cube model. So yeah, there you go. I hope you enjoyed.